Hello and welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to be showing different techniques that you can use in your watercolour paintings to make them feel and look more realistic. This is one of my paintings that I've done using the techniques that I'm going to be sharing in today's video. Without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so first we're going to start by painting all the primary colours onto the paper. So I'm going to start with some red. Although my red isn't quite red, so I'm just mixing it with some pink just to make it a little bit more reddish. So I'm going to go ahead and paint that colour onto my paper. And you want to try and make this colour as dark as possible, because when we do the rest of the primary colours, they're going to go lighter as we carry on with the painting. So I'm doing some yellow now. As my second primary colour. I think it's a bit mucky, but we're going to do that anyway. And now we're going to do the blue as our final primary colour. And then the next part is where it gets interesting, because most people, they think they need to add white to make a colour lighter. But the truth is, you just need to add water to your paint, or just add less colour, and it can actually make your paint a lot lighter. As you can see, I haven't added any white because my white is in fact has run out because I've used it a lot, but just water works really well for lightening colours. And I'm going to add water, or like lighten each colour 2 times from the original dark colour without any like added water. So I'm doing that. I'm going to do the yellow now 2 times. Remember, don't add too much water or you'll get blobs of paint, and make sure you clean your brush and dry it off a bit before doing it, because you'll just get blobs, which I got in the corner of some of my rectangles. Now I'm going to do the blue. You can get really nice white colours, light colours, without adding any white paint. So now I'm going to mix the red and the yellow to create the secondary colours. And I'm not going to lighten the secondary colours as that just take too long, but you can do that after, because that's what I would do afterwards for my swatch test. I would do the secondary colours and then lighten them. And then I'm going to go ahead and label what I've done. So I'm just putting primary colours down here. Label it how you want. And then I'm going to get started on the next technique. So I'm doing a flat wash now. So it's just basically a big rectangle, or like a flat wash is just filling up a big amount of space with one block colour. So that's basically it. It's a really simple technique. But I think I got a bit of rippling on my paint, so I might go over that afterwards after it dries. Now I'm going to do a graded wash. So graded wash is just dark paint and going lighter as you go on with the brush strokes. And that looks actually really good. You can keep going over. You could do it with multiple colours, but then that would technically be blending. Now I'm going to do a softening. So you just got to paint a hard edge, 2 hard edges. Hard edge just when there's like no soft lines. Then I'm getting a small brush and just circular motions around the whole of the hard line. And you can use this for like clouds or trees, even like fur on animals and stuff, and it really works. And I use it for my clouds most of the time. Sometimes I'll use it for trees, but I hardly ever paint trees. I do paint, like bushes are really good for painting like that. And I just went over my flat wash. Now I'm doing dry brush, so you got to dry that brush a lot before doing it. Then you just grab colour and you just go over. Some colours work better than others. or some brushes. I prefer like a square and a straight edge brush. That works really well. So I'm just going to go ahead and label those ones that I've just done. Go ahead and label dry brush. Graded wash for the one that you didn't know. Now we're going to get started on our next technique. We are going to do wet on wet. So you just put water on your paper. Don't know if you can see that very well, but putting water on my paper, and then I'm grabbing a brush, filling it with wet paint, lots of wet paint, and then just putting that over the blob of water that we put on the paper. Just making sure that you have much colour as possible. And the other one I did was just wet on dry, which you just do lines of wet paint on the dry paper. You can do it in any shape really. Then I just labelled it. Now I'm going to do blending, which is a mix of 2 or 3 multiple colours basically, and then you mix them to create a gradient. See, that actually worked really well. It's great for sunsets or skies. That's where I find it works best in my paintings. Now I'm doing a lift out, but you have to wait for the first part of this to dry first before doing the second part. So make sure you do that. So it's been a while now and I've just let it dry, and then we're going to start with the second part of it. So you're just going to get a wet brush, slightly wet brush, and you're going to paint over it. I've slowed down this part of the video so you can see this clearly. Mine didn't work that well because I think I let my paint dry too much. Remember to don't let it dry too much, but it works really well if you do it correctly. I didn't do it that well, that's why my lifting out didn't work too well. But you're basically lifting paint off the paper with wet water basically, and it works sometimes, but it has lifted out a bit because there is white patches on the blue, and it can work really well for clouds. That's why I love it. Okay, I've switched the page now to a new paper, and we're going to get started on the next technique. So we're going to do glazing. So this is another 2-part technique, so you're going to have to wait for this to dry, but this one you've got to wait for it to dry fully. So I'm just painting this, and I'm going to do 2 colours for the start one. You can pick any 2. You can do more if you want, if you have more space, but I recommend doing 2 as a starting one. I'm doing 2 colours that are fairly light. You don't want to make the colours dark, so you want to put the paint on quite lightly. Now this is another 2-part technique where you have to wait for it to dry. Make sure you let this one dry fully as well. You're going to grab all the primary colours. My red is a bit orange, but my yellow is less mucky now, which is good. And then I'm going to grab some blue, and then you've got to let this dry before you can start on anything else. So yeah, this is called layering, this one we're doing now, and the one before is it's called glazing. And then I'll show you what I mean afterwards when it dries. But until that dries, we're going to move on to the next technique, which is, so I'm just writing it first, and then we're going to do the next technique. And now we're going to do the next technique, which let's just do that. We're going to do splattering. So you just get any colour and you just like splatter on some paper. You can hit it with your hand. Hit it on the back of your hand. That works slightly better, hitting it on the back of your hand. And get lots of wet paint. My paint wasn't quite wet, so yeah, that's what happened if your paint isn't wet. It got all over my fingers. So if you have like a round brush, like a mop brush, then it works better using your fingers, but mine wasn't working because I think it was just too soft, my brush was. You need a hard brush. See, that still didn't work either. But I managed to get some splattering onto my paper. And this can really be useful when you're doing night skies, and it works really well with white paint on it because it's really good for stars. It looks really sparkly as well. It looks really pretty. And if you drag some of the paint on some of the splatters, you can make diamond-shaped stars, and it looks really cute. So I'm doing this next technique, which is called feathering out, but I don't think mine is quite feathering out. But mine looks really like a portal when it's finished. It looks really cool, and you can use it for like galaxies as well because it looks really good for like planets, portals, galaxies. See, you just add colour in, and it looks really good. And it sort of looks like an eye actually as well. So you could experiment. But you can check out different tutorials if you want to find actual feathering out, because mine it worked quite well. So now we're coming back to the glazing section because the paint has dried. And glazing is like layering colours on top so you can see underneath. So it works well for windows. So if you're painting windows on top of something that's outside, it can work really well for that. You can see the colours underneath, as you can see. If you're painting cars, windows that look out to scenery, it works really well. Sometimes it works for swimming pools as well. I haven't quite painted that yet, but I'd love to give it a go. My layering hasn't quite dried, but I'm just dabbing it so we can get on with the video because it will take too long to dry because I put a load of water on there, which I was not supposed to, but anyway. Now we can do the colours. So you just use the primary colours but put them across horizontally, and then if you do it correctly you should see the secondary colours appear underneath. Sort of worked for the blue section, but I put it too much paint on it. The yellow one did work slightly better, and I can see the green on the blue, but the red, because I dabbed it, it didn't work quite well. But the blue one definitely worked. I could see the green under the yellow, and I could see slightly bit purple under the blue. I'm just using any of that excess paint to get more splatter. Oh yeah, that's good. That's good. That's a good splatter. That looks nice. So I'm just labeling these now. Yeah, and then I'm just calling this feathering out because that's what it's supposed to be. Okay. Now we're going to do our next technique, which is going to be called, it's called graffito. I delayed a bit here because I forgot what I was doing, but doing graffito. So I'm just putting this orange on. This is mucky as well. I don't know what's wrong with my colours, but I think they were mixed. Anyway. And then you can use like a crayon or something. I didn't really like the crayon, so I just resorted to a pencil instead. I don't know if you can see it very well, but there's like the pencil marks in it. It works better if you let it dry a bit, because then you can actually see the paper through it. And then finally we're going to do resist, which is using like wax crayon. I just got this Crayola one, this silver one, and I just put a heart shape here. You make it quite thick if you want. This one's really satisfying. I really love it. When it happens, it's so satisfying. You just put it over. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I love it. It's like you put the paint on and then the crayon appears. I love it. Just put that on. I'll do it multiple times. I think I went a bit crazy there, but okay. And then, oh my gosh. And then you can use it for like the ocean or something. If you want to like something that you don't really want to get paint on, it works really well for that. So I've got this sun here. Well, I have color it in because I don't want to get any blue in the sun, only on the sea, and it works really well. So if I show you, I try to put it on the sun. It doesn't actually color the sun, like a little bit, but it works quite well. So there we go. If you guys enjoyed this video, give me a like, subscribe. Bye!